Hey UIWI fam, I am Suzie Gamez and I am on staff at Light and Life Christian Fellowship in Long Beach, California. I have been in full-time ministry basically my entire adult life. I started off as a volunteer youth minister when I was in college and then just jumped right into ministry. And in that time, I became really passionate about discipleship. So I'm going to talk to you today about discipleship. I think oftentimes people will ask, what are some key steps in having a successful discipleship program? Like, what are some key principles or best practices that you can give me? And I know that this sounds pretty basic and maybe even cliche, but I'm going to reiterate it to you because I want to go back to basics. For me, good discipleship is just living life together. But I'm going to add to that, it's living life together and making Jesus attractive. So I'll say it again for the people in the back. Good discipleship is living life together and living life in a way that makes Jesus attractive. It sounds like a simple recipe, but we all know it's not so simple in its execution, right? I have never been more aware of how difficult it is to live a life of discipleship day in and day out as I do now. My husband and I are trying to raise 4 young children in the way of the Lord. They are my primary target for discipleship. And so as we live life together every day, I know that I have to live life in a way that makes Jesus attractive to them. Telling them, do it because I told you so, is not going to work when it comes to discipleship. Follow Jesus because I told you so is not a way to make living a life with Jesus attractive. So my husband and I have to live an authentic life of faith, even through the hard times. And we have to show our kids what it is to feast on the word, what it is to gain our nourishment from God himself. Paul said, follow me as I follow Jesus. Jesus told his disciples simply, follow me, and they dropped their nets and they followed him. So what was it about the way that they lived their lives that made people say, yes, I'll follow you? If you look in Luke 5, Jesus comes across the first guys that he called to be his disciples, and they're out fishing. They're having an unsuccessful day at fishing. And Jesus comes along and he says, put your nets down one more time. Put it down deep this time. And Peter, he tells him, we haven't been catching anything all day. And I'm sure he had a little bit of doubt in his heart. But I think maybe just out of respect to Jesus, he said, okay, we'll do it again. So he puts his nets down, and then they come back with this number of fish that's going to make the nets break. So what Jesus did was he asked them to do something, and he showed them his power. Jesus showed that he had God's power in him. Jesus came to them with purpose, and then he gave them just a little push in the right direction. He says, just go and try it for yourself and see what happens. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Okay, I know this might seem like a little bit of a tangent, but just stay with me. I'll bring it back around. Have you ever had good Korean barbecue? Now, if you go to a Korean barbecue restaurant, it might seem a little odd at first because it seems like they're making you do the work yourself. Because when you come into a Korean barbecue restaurant, you sit down at the table and there's a grill in front of you. They bring the meat out to you and you have to grill the meat yourself. But it's all a part of the experience. If you have good Korean barbecue, the smells that you smell and the work that you're doing to grill up that meat, it builds up the anticipation. And in fact, it makes you more hungry for the good meat that you're about to have. So good Korean barbecue, the smells will get all up in your hair. It'll get in your clothes. You'll take it with you as you leave the restaurant. A lot of these Korean barbecue restaurants are all you can eat. But I feel like they're all you can smell too, because for days you will smell like Korean barbecue in your clothes. And if you don't take a shower, in your hair too. But the thing about Korean barbecue, if you go to a friend's house after you've feasted on some good meat, if they're like me and they're familiar with the smells of Korean barbecue, you might go over to your friend's house and they, when you enter into the room, might just be able to smell you and say, What's that smell? Hey, did you go for Korean barbecue? Did you go for Korean barbecue without me? And just by you walking into the room, the smells that you carry will make them start wanting to have some good Korean barbecue too. It's an infectious, contagious kind of smell. Now, the way that I want to bring it back around is if you look in 2 Corinthians 2:15, it says that we are to God the pleasing aroma of God among those who are being saved and those who are perishing. So do we carry the aroma of Christ wherever we go? Like when you walk into a room, will people be able to say, I smell someone that feels a little bit like Jesus? I know that sounds weird, but have you ever spent time with somebody that just feels like Jesus to you? Like after you've spent some time with them, it somehow makes you fall more in love with Jesus. It makes you want to know Jesus more deeply because something about this person they carry the aroma of Christ. It makes you more hungry to be in fellowship with Jesus. As they follow Jesus, it makes you want to follow them and follow Jesus the way that they do. Wouldn't you love to be a person like that? That's what good discipleship is. You make the people around you hungry for more of Jesus. What we need to do is we need to soak up the presence of God. We need to get up close and personal with Jesus, the way that we get up close and personal with our meat when we're cooking it over the grill. Jesus took a lot of time alone to pray. Before he was about to do really hard things, before he had to go to the cross, he took time alone in the garden with the Father, and he was in prayer. He woke up early to pray. He escaped the crowds to pray. When his fame was beginning to spread, he took time alone to center himself and pray. He knew that he had to be filled with the presence of his Father. He needed to be empowered and be brought back into focus. So we need to do that as well. If we want to be good disciplers, we need to spend time intimately soaking up the presence of God. So let that be a challenge to you. If you're going to do a good job of discipling young people, if you want people to follow Jesus as you follow him, if you're going to do life together with people and make Jesus attractive, we need to make sure that we are taking time alone to pray, that we are feasting on the word, that we are soaking up the aroma of Christ so that wherever we go, the aroma of Christ would be a fragrant offering up to God and to the people around us. This is what good discipleship looks like. So when people say, what are the key steps to good discipleship? Is there good programming that I can instill? Again, I'll go back to the basics. Live life together with people and make Jesus attractive. Urban youth workers, your life is a pleasing aroma unto Jesus, unto God, unto the world around you. And so I hope that we will take that call to live life with people around us and make Jesus attractive. Vaya con Dios.